I'm Judith Maria and welcome to SG Global News. From the video released by Islamic State Central Africa Province featuring executions of Christians and forced conversions to Cardinal Müller's warning about Germany's future, we have many stories to cover. Islamic State Central Africa Province released its first video in 3 years on September 26th. In the propaganda video, members of the ISIS-affiliated group urged Muslims across Africa to travel to the Democratic Republic of the Congo and other regions to join ISIS and participate in jihad, claiming that such actions fulfill religious duties. The video also features gruesome executions of Christians and forced conversions of Christians to Islam. Islamic State Central Africa Province released its first video in 3 years on September 26 through multiple instant messaging apps including Telegram. In the 18-minute propaganda video, members of the ISIS-affiliated group urged Muslims across Africa to travel to the Democratic Republic of Congo to join ISIS and take part in jihad, claiming that doing so fulfills a religious duty. The video included footage of execution of Ugandan Christians, the forced conversion of dozens of Christians to Islam, and combat between ISIS fighters and militaries of DRC and Uganda. In the video, one of the ISCAP operatives said that jihad is the path to your glory and survival. The one who commanded you to pray, fast, and make pilgrimage is the one who commanded you to wage jihad to support your religion and fight its enemies. So, answer the call of your Creator and join the military of the Mujahideen in the jungles of faith, or participate in fighting the armies of Christians and Jews wherever you are. One of the disturbing scenes in the video showcased ISCAP fighters executing Ugandan Christians. Speaking on behalf of the group, one of the fighters described the act as a message to the Ugandan tyrant Museveni, his soldiers and his allies. In addition to its violent content, the video featured a recruitment call for Muslims in DRC, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi and Rwanda. It also highlighted ISCAP's Dawa efforts to convert Christians to Islam, showcasing footage of individuals reportedly reciting the Shahada and noting the group's continued push for religious conversion. Concluding the video, an ISCAP operative speaking in English denied any affiliation with the Allied Democratic Forces. The operative said that they are soldiers fighting under the flag of the Islamic State and the Khalifa, and that the Islamic State is fighting in the prophetic methodology in the way of the Prophet. The Islamic State Mozambique province have claimed responsibility for a series of attacks targeting Christian civilians in northern Mozambique's Cabo Delgado and Nampula provinces. The group also released photos from Cabo Delgado showing its fighters beheading local residents and torching homes and churches in the area. In recent days, the Islamic State Mozambique province has claimed responsibility for multiple attacks targeting Christian civilians in northern Mozambique's Cabo Delgado and Nampula provinces. The group also released photos from Cabo Delgado depicting its operatives beheading local residents and setting fire to homes and churches in the region. In a statement shared on September 25th, ISMP claimed that its operatives captured and later beheaded 2 Christians in Chiure Velho. The September 28th statement claimed that ISMP operatives assaulted the village on September 23rd in the Montipus district, Cabo Delgado province, setting fire to a Christian home. The operatives raided village of Nakocha on September 26th and killed a Christian and burned 2 churches and other property. On the same day, the operatives also raided and assaulted the village of Nakusa, Chiure district, setting fire to 2 churches. On September 29th, ISMP claimed that its operatives have raided the village of Mahip in Montipus, Cabo Delgado province the previous day, setting fire to 23 homes and 1 church. On September 28th, they reportedly attacked the town of Macomia, killing 4 Christians and looting their personal belongings before retreating to their bases without casualties, according to the group's statement. They have reported that their fighters captured and beheaded a Christian in Macomia district of Mozambique's Cabo Delgado province. province. In a gruesome statement claiming responsibility for a September 30th attack, the Islamic State Mozambique province said its fighters raided a Kyoto village in the Memba district of Nampula province. During the assault, they reportedly burned one church and over 100 homes belonging to Christians before returning to their bases without suffering any casualties. Also in Nampula province, ISCAP operatives allegedly attacked Minhanha village in the Memba district, setting fire to one church and approximately 10 Christian homes. The violence inflicted on civilians in Mozambique by ISCAP has caused widespread suffering, displacement, and fear, highlighting the urgent need for national and international efforts to protect human rights and restore peace in the region. Hamas has agreed to release all Israeli hostages, whether dead or alive, under the US President Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan. While the group expressed acceptance of parts of the proposal, it stated that other elements would require further negotiation. The Palestinian group stated that it accepted certain aspects of Trump's plan, including relinquishing power and releasing the remaining hostages. In response to Hamas's statement, Trump ordered Israel to immediately stop its bombing campaign in Gaza, expressing his belief that Hamas was ready to pursue peace. And a potential breakthrough after months of failed attempts to end the war started almost 2 years ago. Hamas had said it agreed to immediately enter negotiations for the release of all hostages according to Trump's plan. A statement from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office stated that Israel is preparing to immediately implement the first phase of Trump's plan for the immediate release of all hostages. The statement from Hamas come ahead of a Sunday deadline imposed by Trump for Hamas to accept the proposed peace plan. Netanyahu's office said that they will continue to work in full cooperation with President Trump and his team to end the war in accordance with the principles set forth by Israel that are consistent with Trump's vision. Trump responded positively to the announcement, writing on Truth Social that he believes Hamas is ready for a lasting peace, and he called on Israel to stop its bombardment of Gaza in order to extract hostages.
I want to thank the countries that helped me put this together: Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and so many others. So many people fought so hard. This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents and having some of the hostages, unfortunately, you know the condition they're in, come home likewise to their parents, because their parents wanted them just as much as though that young man or young woman were alive. So I just want to let you know that this is a very special day, maybe unprecedented in many ways. It is unprecedented, but thank you all, and thank you all to those great countries that helped. We were given a tremendous amount of help. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East. And we're very close to achieving that. Thank you all, and everybody will be treated fairly.
The Trump proposal's key demands include the release of the remaining 48 hostages within 72 hours, and Hamas's agreement to relinquish power in Gaza were seen as a potential red lines that risked prompting the group to reject the plan. The Hamas response make no mention of the disarmament or the decommissioning of weaponry, another critical part of the proposal that Hamas has repeatedly rejected. They said that the remaining issues mentioned in the American proposal will be discussed in future. The mediators in negotiations, Egypt and Qatar, welcomed the Hamas movement. According to Trump's 20-point Gaza peace plan, the proposal calls for Israel to release 250 Palestinian prisoners with life sentences, as well as 1,700 Palestinians detained since the start of the war, in exchange of Hamas freeing 48 hostages, 20 of whom are believed to be alive. Hamas members can be granted amnesty after that if they commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons. Israel would begin a gradual withdrawal from Gaza as a temporary international stabilization force led by Arab partners assumes security responsibilities in the war-torn territory. In the interim, Gaza would be administered by a Palestinian committee under the supervision of an international body called the Board of Peace until a reformed Palestinian Authority is prepared to take control. The proposal acknowledges the aspiration vision for a Palestinian state and aims to offer a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood. Hundreds took to the street of Paris on September 28 to protest rising Christianophobia around the world. The march was organized in response to the brutal killing of Iraqi Christian influencer Ashur Sarnaya in Lyon earlier this month. Demonstrators prayed, sang hymns, and carried flags and placards highlighting global Christian persecution. Organizers warned that Christianophobia is growing not only in the Middle East and Africa but also in Europe itself.
Hundreds of demonstrators, including Catholics, Orthodox, Evangelicals, and even non-Christians, marched through the streets of Paris on Sunday, September 28th, to protest the rise of Christianophobia worldwide. The peaceful march was organized by two Christian influencers following the killing of Iraqi Christian influencer Ashur Sarnaya, who was murdered outside his home in Lyon on September 10th. The 45-year-old Chaldean Christian, a wheelchair user and French resident for over a decade, was live-streaming on TikTok when an assailant slit his throat. The Paris demonstration drew crowds bearing crosses as well as flags of France, Lebanon, Iraq, and other nations. Many held placards with messages such as "Christians are being killed, the world remains silent, pray for Nigeria, pray for Yemen, and pray for Iraq." The protest began with the Lord's Prayer, followed by hymns and worship songs. Speakers, including organizer Constance Cissot, addressed the gathering and placed de la Nation in eastern Paris. Cissot stressed that 380 million Christians face persecution in 72 countries worldwide, adding, quote, "This persecution is also happening in Europe. This subject is not being discussed," end quote. The demonstrators eventually dispersed after several songs and prayers for an end to Christianophobia, marking a growing awareness in Western Europe of the threats faced by Christians globally.
Pope Leo XIV has signed his first apostolic exhortation, the Lexite, in a private library of the Apostolic Palace. The document, set for release on October 9th, is expected to outline the new Pope's pastoral priorities for the global Catholic Church.
The Holy See press office announced on Saturday morning that Pope Leo XIV has signed his first apostolic exhortation, De Lexite, in the private library of the Apostolic Palace. Archbishop Edgar Peña Parra, substitute for General Affairs of the Secretariat of State, witnessed the historic moment. The Pope's first major document is scheduled to be published on October 9th. The title De Lexite, meaning He Loved You, signals hermeneutical continuity with Pope Francis, whose last encyclical was titled De Lexit Nos, meaning He Loved Us. Pope Leo's first apostolic exhortation will likely set out his priorities as the head of the 1.4 billion member Catholic Church. An apostolic exhortation, a primarily pastoral document, is intended to encourage the faithful to a deeper Christian life and to address specific pastoral concerns. It remains to be seen what Pope Leo will seek to emphasize in his first message to the global Catholic Church.
Cardinal Müller, former prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, has issued a stark warning about Germany's future. In an interview with journalist Diane Montagna, he claimed the country risks Islamization, social unrest, and even civil war if current trends continue. Müller argued that weak political leadership and silent church leaders have left Germany vulnerable, saying the nation has already lost the battle.
Cardinal Müller, former prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith and a prominent German prelate, has warned that Germany could soon resemble North Africa, becoming an overwhelmingly Muslim nation in which Christians are relegated to second-class status. He made these stark remarks during an interview with journalist Diane Montagna, where he spoke candidly about a range of issues, including the assassination of Charlie Kirk, changes in the Vatican under the new pontificate, and the influence of woke and LGBTQ ideology. In the interview, Montagna and the Cardinal discussed at length what Müller sees as the threats Islam poses to the West and especially to Germany. Cardinal Müller cautioned that progressive woke activists may be instrumentalizing Islam in order to erode Christian identity in Western culture, though he warned that in doing so, they may themselves soon become victims of radical Islamists. He contended that even though many Muslims do not embrace woke ideas, some activists align with Islam for shared opposition to what they see as a dominant Christian culture. He pointed to England as an example where this dynamic is unfolding. He added that Germany is not far behind. He claimed that 18 knife attacks occur each day and that in some schools, Muslim children now outnumber Christian children. He also lamented that many bishops do not fully grasp the gravity of the situation and instead turn a blind eye. He attributed their inaction to a desire to be liked by everyone. Cardinal Müller further noted that in Germany, a country where religious freedom exists, Muslims are increasingly visible in the public sphere, while Christians are often hesitant to even hold public Eucharistic processions. He warned that if current trends persist, Germany could follow the trajectory of North Africa, formerly Catholic, now almost entirely Muslim within centuries of Islam's arrival. He cited his hometown of Mainz as a case study, observing that in 50 years, its Catholic population has dropped from 70% to 27%. When asked whether Germany could become a Muslim country in the future, Cardinal Müller replied that in many respects it already is. He accused politicians who live in fear of Muslims of contributing to this phenomenon. He expressed sorrow that in his view, Germany has already lost the battle, saying young Germans are unable to defend themselves. He remarked, quote, "In truth, there was no battle, it was an infiltration," end quote. He cautioned that when resources are depleted, a civil war could erupt akin to Syria, especially if no effective counter-movement emerges to address Western depopulation and cultural decline.
That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.